Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a 2D platformer combined with the elements of Metroidvania games. It was published by Ubisoft and released in January 2024 to really positive reviews. The Lost Crown is the next chapter in the long-standing Prince of Persia franchise, but it is the first main game in the series since the PlayStation 3 days. So I wanted to see if I could pick up my first platinum from the series, which ironically could well be the last. The game consists of a mix of puzzles and platforming sections, which do become more complex as you progress the story, but I feel where the game really excels is the visuals and the boss fights, but there'll be more on that later. Trophies wise, we are looking at a total of 31 trophies including the platinum. So I broke the platinum journey down into 3 stages. The first stage was to complete the story and get used to the combat and platforming flow. The second stage was completing side quests and any additional trophies I may pick up along the way. And the final stage I just left for collectibles and any cleanup which may be needed. So let's get started with the story. The opening cutscene introduces us to Sargon, who is a Persian warrior and a member of the elite group known as the Immortals. We follow Sargon on his journey through the cursed city of Mount Karth to rescue the kidnapped Prince Hassan. The abduction itself is initially blamed on Sargon's mentor, Anahita.
Anahita! What is this all about?
I wasn't planning on killing you, Sargon. Stay out of this.
But as he delves deeper into Mount Karth, he discovers that time itself is fractured and distorted within its walls, and he is the only one that can right the wrongs of the past.
What the hell was that?
So I spent the next few hours progressing through the story whilst learning the core mechanics of the game, and I received my first trophy of the playthrough for defeating a lost warrior. These lost warriors are part of a side quest which we'll need to complete later on, so we'll come back after the story to finish the rest off. But defeating the first one unlocks the trophy. The next trophy unlocked was for defeating our first boss, Jahandar. The visuals on these boss fights throughout the game just felt really unique and a big high point for me. I mean, just look how cool this first introductory boss is. You are fighting an ancient mythical god mixed in with comic book visuals. They just felt really awesome to play, and I looked forward to fighting every single one of them. A key detail of the story I mentioned earlier are the time fractures. The consequences of these fractures help us to unlock our next trophy. This one is for defeating our first alternate version of Sargon, who is lost to the mysteries of Mount Karth. So I continued on through the story, unlocking all the story related trophies and some of the combat related ones that just came naturally whilst playing. So you know what that means? It's time for a montage.
Sargon.
Don't worry. I'll take good care of Varum.
With the main story completed and justice rightfully served to the true villain of Persia, it's time to move on to stage 2, the side quests. Not every side quest has a trophy at the end, but they usually contain collectibles, so they will all need completing. So during this stage, I unlock the trophies for completing the 3 main side quest chains. Those are True Moon for completing the Moon Gatherer quests, Written in Sand for completing the Prophecy of Mount Karth quest, and Charitable Soul for completing the quest chain The Architect. Whilst completing the side quests, I also unlock the following trophies. Shock Trooper for defeating 20 enemies with opportunity attacks, Deadly Trap for pushing 5 enemies in total into traps, Warrior Within for using every Aphra Surge. I then purchased a lost key from the scrapper, which helped to get me to the hidden floor. Syra's Last Hope for finding the last herbalist camp. Spectre of the Sea for finding a ghost ship, which was suspended in space and time. And then finally, Betrayal for eliminating an enemy with the Dimensional Claw. Now with all the side quests out of the way, it's time to clean up the collectibles to max out Sargon's powers. As this stage mostly involves picking up collectibles, I highly recommend trying to find a hidden vendor for each area first. Each of these vendors has a map that you can purchase, which will highlight all the collectibles in any specific biome, making this stage significantly easier. So with that said, I collected all the Soma Tree petals, fully upgraded Sargon's amulet holder, collected all the remaining amulets, and then finally it was time to head back to the forge to fully upgrade the sword and the bow.
Welcome.
And with that final trophy, that's the platinum for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown achieved. Now, I don't really do reviews on games, so I'll save giving the game a rating, but for the other trophy hunters out there, is the game actually worth playing? It generally takes around 20 to 25 hours to complete if you're not following any guides, so in that sense, I think it is worth a go. The game itself is very customizable from a difficulty perspective, as you can change both the combat and the platforming difficulty should you get stuck at any point. You can also purchase maps in-game to help you find the collectibles and the upgrades on your way to the platinum. So yeah, in my opinion, it's a bit of an underrated gem and it's well worth your time. With the game's recent resurgence in popularity over the last few months, it does provide some hope that we may well see the legend of Sargon return. To be continued? We shall see. If you got this far into the video, many thanks for watching. I do hope to see you again soon. And watch out for my next video, because it may or may not be one of my favourite video game series that has been lost to the corridors of time.
Yeah! Time to split!
I'll get the next one.